Hello and welcome to the Mended Drum. This is the very first video of a brand new YouTube channel. At last! A brand new YouTube channel. More content, more things for people to crave, more things to be ignored on the internet, more things for my son to watch 10 years from now and be ashamed of. This is the first video on the Mended Drum. And what is the Mended Drum? Well, I'm hoping it'll be a YouTube channel for the ages. One about pop culture and geekery and all the things that fall under those two very specific terms. So it's about movies, it's about comic books, it's about anime, it's about board games, it's about basically anything that I can shoehorn into those two topics. And we're starting tonight with a soft launch, with a first video that absolutely nobody knows about, to almost no aplomb, no applause, and no awards. Yay us! But here's the good news, we are launching, and somehow you have found your way here. So thank you very, very much for being here. You've already endeared yourself to us and made yourself a person that we want to get to know and get to meet, probably through swearing at us in the comments section. So thank you very much for being here. Enough of that. So why are we launching on Wednesday night? Well, Wednesday night is going to become one of the Mended Drum's feature nights, in which we release our feature called the Jank Bank. The Jank Bank focuses on the card game Magic the Gathering. And so from now until I become a coke-addled billionaire YouTube influencer, the Jank Bank will be released every single Wednesday night with a brand new low-level deck. There are plenty of resources for those players out there who want to reach Mythic level in Arena, or who want to get invites to the Mythic Invitationals, or who want to be the #1 player in the world. Loads of resources. The Jank Bank is not that kind of a feature. This is for the kind of player who likes to annoy the players who want to reach Mythic level on Arena, who want to get invites to Mythic Invitationals and become the #1 player in the world. This is for the kind of person who doesn't like to shell out a huge amount of money to play paper Magic. This is for the kind of person who likes to develop fun decks, exciting decks, decks that nobody's ever seen before, decks that maybe have a little bit of a surprise in them, maybe they build off a weird combo, maybe they do strange things. So that is what the Jank Bank is about. And this is the very first episode of the Jank Bank on the very first episode for the Mended Drum. Huh? Isn't that a thing? Crazy. So with all the pressure taken off, let's find out what our first Jank Bank deck is going to be. I can tell you that it centers on a card called Clackbridge Troll. First released in Thrones of Eldraine, the Clackbridge Troll has largely flown under the radar because that is such a powerful and crazy expansion filled with expensive and outrageous cards. Clackbridge Troll initially looked like it was going to be a thing. It's got a lot of power on the surface, but when people started playing with it, they found it really wasn't tier 1. And I think the reason for that is because the cards that make it really good have only come out in subsequent expansions. So what are those cards? Well, let's take a deep dive into the deck itself.
Right, so here is the deck. As you can see, I've wittily named it Clacky Kevik. It revolves around, obviously, the Clackbridge Troll itself, and as such, it is a black deck. It is a black and white deck, which is great. The Clackbridge Troll obviously forms the centerpiece of this. 8/8 Trample Haste. When it comes into play, it gives your opponent 3 0/1 goat tokens, and they may sacrifice creatures in order to tap your Clackbridge at the beginning of each combat to give you 3 life and allow you to draw a card, which is great value on its own, even if they are sacrificing creatures. If you can keep it on the board, he's going to start developing you some good value. He's backed up, though, by Hushbringer, Strict Proctor, because when he comes into play, those two will ensure that his actual enters the battlefield effect cannot go off. And that prevents the goats from being formed on your opponent's side, meaning they immediately start sacrificing their own creatures if they want this massive 8/8 thing to not come bundling over to their side of the board. Right, Kevik the Spiteful is there because giving -1/-1 to a 0/1 goat token kills it. So if he's in play when your Clackbridge Troll comes down, obviously he's going to wipe out those goats. He does make the Clackbridge Troll 7/7 though, which is a problem. Pestilent Haze, we've got a couple copies of that in the deck because at -2/-2 it can wipe out the early game really hyper aggro decks like the mono reds, mono whites. Massacre Worm does the same thing, but later in the game, and also costs your opponent 2 life for each creature it kills. Amazing what that does to a bunch of goats on the board. You can deal a solid amount of damage and wipe out the goat tokens with the Massacre Worm, provided you can get there. Stone Coil Serpent, he's just there basically as a kind of a blocker, as a mana curve filler. And Heliod's Intervention, you'd be surprised how often the life becomes important, and also how often getting rid of just those crucial enchantments. The rest of the deck is filled out with control elements, things to wipe out early creatures, to gain new extra cards, and then Ahiri's Binding's obviously there to secure big creatures, as is the Murderous Rider. Everything is about trying to prepare the board and open it up so that when your Clackbridge Troll finally lands, it can bring the pain.
So, does the deck work? Well, if you mean is it going to dominate Standard for the next 2 months, absolutely not. If you mean is it fun, then yes. And mostly it's fun because it beats those tacky and tawdry players who play mono red. So let's take a look at exactly how it works.
Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on here. We're playing against Gyruda, Doom of Depths. And Simic colours there as well, so that's at least a 3-colour deck. Fabled Passage makes sense. On our side, we've got 2 Clackbridge Trolls and a Massacre Worm. I reckon maybe this is the time to give them a couple of goats. Alright, that's always irritating, but I don't think we're going to need the Heliod's Intervention. Let's take a look here. Alright, still no real threats on their side. I'm sure one will come now. Yep, Spirit of Eldergard, but he's no match for the Murderous Rider. Okay, here we go. Here you are. Have some goats. No, you ate a whole troll. That's just greedy. Have some more goats. Starting a little farm on that side. No! Okay, clearly doesn't like my Clackbridge Trolls. But we have a third one, so why don't you have more goats? Right, that's the Gyruda. Inevitable, I suppose. Alright, and some Massacre Worm action. That's 14 damage. Attack! The Serpent obviously has coming back shenanigans. So let's kill Gyruda. And deal another 2. Okay, well look, they've only got 2 cards left in hand. We've got plenty here, as well as a Mazemind Tome. I think it's time to start building a little value on our side. A couple of Strict Proctors, which will set up for the next turn Clackbridge Troll, because obviously they will prevent the enters the battlefield effect, because I'm not going to pay to give my opponent goats. Old Priest. And you see, that does not happen if you don't pay for the Strict Proctor. Right, here comes the Clackbridge Troll. Sacrifice, I suspect they will. Yep. But we can still deal them 2 damage, which is half of their remaining life. We're holding up the Grasp of Darkness just in case. And again, there's that Strict Proctor adding just a little bit of extra value for us. I don't see any way they can stop the 2 Strict Proctors. Yep, and neither do they. Okay, so we're on to the next one. Again, we've got a Clackbridge Troll, a Massacre Worm, we've got a Kervik, which is slightly different. Hopefully he'll be able to kill off some goats for us. And of course the sorcery there will keep control. I was about to say keep control of the early game, but we're not going to need early game because this appears to be giants. Plenty of time to set up here, which is always nice. Although -2 doesn't do very much against giants. There's Kervik. Clackbridge Troll, give them some goats, because of course we've got the Massacre Worm there to clear things up if necessary. That's our 6th land necessary for the Massacre Worm. If we kill off those goats now, he'll have to sacrifice one of his own creatures to stop us. Yep, had enough. Okay, this one slightly different. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, I'll get rid of the Nahiri's Binding. We've got the first appearance of the Snake, who can fill off our mana curve there pretty nicely. The Strict Proctor coming in, just to see if he can give us some value in the early game, and he already has. So that's nice. I suspect if that's what they're leading with, then the Strict Proctor is going to do some real work in this game. Block with both simply because we've got the spare Kevik. And there's Kevik killing off the goats. So there's a Strict Proctor preventing the goats being made in the first place. Those two Conclave Sentinels are going to have to be dealt with because they can really become problematic quite quickly. Oh, that's too much for him. 2 sacrifices too much. Alright, and again a Clackbridge Troll, Massacre Worm, Murderous Rider, a little bit of early control. There's our Strict Proctor, that's an absolutely perfect hand now. Ooh. He's not gonna like the Strict Proctor with that Orator. Yep, no life unless you pay for it. Let's get rid of that guy anyway, because those things can become quite big and quite scary quite quickly. Oh, of course, he's got another one. Marvelous. Let's get the Maze Mind Tome out so that we can start generating a little bit of value here. Because he's only got 2 cards left in hand. There's another Orator. Are you prepared to pay for them? No? Alright, you'd rather have your Luminarch Aspirant. We're going to take some damage here. And there's our first Clackbridge Troll. Feeling brave. Obviously thinks he's going to gain more life than we can deal damage. You'll pay for it at least, so now it costs you 5 to hurt us like that. And here comes the Aspirant, along with the 2 Orators. Don't need the Hushbringer. Right, let's get that Clackbridge Troll back. Which is surprising. I would have thought one of the Orators, given how useless they are with the Proctor out. Now he's going to have to choose which of the effects he's prepared to pay for, and I would guess it's going to be, yep, the bigger one, the one that gains him the more life. And here they come again. We're down to 6, but that's not necessarily a problem, as Clackbridge Troll will obviously give us some of it back. Yep. Back down to 6. It's a little bit of a scrabble this game. Yes, now I've forgotten about the Strict Proctor. Brilliant. Yep, he's definitely going to take out our Proctor now because we can't afford to go down to 1. Who knows what sort of shenanigans he might be able to pull. Alright, so that deals him 2. Now he's in a bit of trouble because you either take 6 or you kill your creature and take 2 anyway from the Massacre Worm. And there's another Massacre Worm to finish it off anyway.
So that's the deck. Hopefully it looked like fun. Next week we'll be back with a brand new one, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. Please, if it's the kind of thing that you like, bring the subscribe button, smash the bell, and tell me in the comment section how badly I messed that up. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us.